Hello, and welcome to Empower Our Topic Sessions. Today's topic is finding the bad in your good, and it is specifically geared toward hiring managers. However, if you are curious, do tune in and stick around and share your thoughts, comments, and feedback and questions because this concept and topic can actually help and be applied to any area in life. But as I'm a recruiter and a hiring coach and consultant, I really enjoy partnering with hiring managers and helping them to eliminate those unnecessary distractions, inefficiencies, frustrations that can come up throughout the hiring process. And of course, the worst one is making a bad hire. So, how can finding the bad in your good help in making your hiring process more efficient and your life just better overall? Well, it is about awareness, and awareness creates change. I'm very big on self reflection. I think a great way, the best way to take in and apply and really lock in a lesson is to look at our past experiences. And that can be for both good, successful, positive outcomes, and also those outcomes that were just not what we were looking for, those undesired outcomes. Some might call them failures or mistakes. But if we are learning from them, from our past experiences that didn't turn out that great, then it doesn't have to be a mistake. So the lesson here is that awareness creates change. So what I'm going to do is share a couple specific examples of mine that I have observed working over the years with hiring managers. And then I'm going to share some of my own personal experiences or examples as well. I have to pick on myself a little bit too. Don't worry, I won't name any names, but by understanding well, first of all, let me back up a little bit. I think that there is good in each of our supposed bad qualities, and there are positives in each of good in our bad and bad in our good. And just by becoming aware of how our star qualities can sometimes hinder us, then awareness creates change. You can start to just observe and then choose to make some simple shifts that are going to positively impact your life. So real quick intro before I jump in on who I am and what I do. Of course, I'm a recruiter. I'm also a hiring coach and consultant helping leaders hire with confidence. And I also do one-on-one career coaching. I'm very passionate on helping professionals identify what it is that is meaningful to them and then actively pursue their goals. All right, so finding the bad in your good. Couple of examples. I have to say that I love working with people leaders. I have had the opportunity and the great pleasure of working with so many great leaders over the years, and I really do consider them my peers and my friends. And I find that the best leaders, the most achieved, accomplished, busiest, are the busiest, and they're also the nicest. They give people time. They treat people the way that they would like to be treated. So many great qualities. But with anything, there can be some downsides to our good qualities. It's like a double-edged sword. I'm sure everybody's familiar with that concept. It's kind of, I like to think of it as my own little personal theory that I came up with, but then I realized that most people are familiar with the double-edged sword. And my personal theory is that our best qualities and our supposed worst qualities can end up being one and the same. All right, so let's dive into examples. So one of my favorite hiring managers to work with, he's very high level in his organization, and I do consider him a great friend as well. We were working on one of his openings a while back, and he called me to give me some candidate feedback after completing a 1-hour Zoom interview. And I really appreciate when hiring managers will give me specific candidate feedback. It helps me to know what's working, what's not working, if something's not working, why that is. And then they end up saving themselves time by saving me time where I can hone in more specifically on the target profile that they're looking for. And I can also share that feedback with the candidate, which is really helpful for them too. Hopefully the candidate will take and apply if it's some less than positive feedback. But if it's useful, it's an opportunity to learn from our past mistakes, if we'll call them that. So anyhow, this hiring manager called me up to let me know his feedback after completing the 1-hour Zoom interview. And I was completely shocked when he told me what happened. My jaw literally dropped and I couldn't believe it. He told me that this candidate, when he logged on for the Zoom, had the baseball game on in the background, the television on with the picture on and the sound on. And let me preface this. I mean, I think that's pretty, kind of common sense that you don't want to have the television on or the radio on when you are showing up for an interview. You want to be dialed in and present. But I do always share prep tips with each candidate throughout each step in the process. And I also offer to hop on a prep call with them as well. Sorry about the lighting. It was good, decent, and then now it's not. But I can't really hop up to change it right now. So hang in there with me. I'll work on that for next time. Always room to improve. Anyhow, so he asked the candidate if he would like to mute the volume, and the candidate said, "No, it's okay." And this hiring manager, my jaw dropped the first time, but then it dropped even bigger the second time when the manager let me know that he completed the 1 hour interview. When knowing that this candidate is not going to move forward for obvious reasons. And I listened, and then I asked him, "Why did you complete the interview?" And because he's nice. So I forgot to start with this manager's, well, maybe I shared it. One of his best qualities is how nice he is. He cares about other people. He cares about how he treats them. And he didn't want this candidate to feel uncomfortable or bad for cutting the interview super short. But honesty is, I believe that it is our duty to help others, and that the best way to do that is by being honest. And it didn't really help this candidate either by taking an hour of this candidate's time, knowing that he wasn't going to move forward. But he completed the hour interview, wasting an hour of his time, not to mention the focus that he shifted away from his task previously to conduct the interview. And whenever we shift our focus from one task to another, we lose whatever momentum we have built. And then we have to get our momentum going for the new task. And that takes some time. There's a statistic. I think it's either 7 minutes or 20 minutes. I will find that because that's a bit of a variance there. But a minute wasted is a minute wasted, So then having to work to rebuild your momentum, and then getting off of that 1 hour Zoom, obviously frustrated at the time that you wasted and the candidate's lack of self and social awareness there. So then you're going to be most likely working with a distracted focus for the rest of the day. Actually, let me see if I can fix this light here. Get it a little bit better. Let me see. A little bit better. I know I get super frustrated whenever my time is wasted. So then I am working with a distracted focus when I'm trying to focus on my other tasks because I'm frustrated at what happened before. And so then you're working with a distracted focus. So anyhow, I did tell the manager that never do that again. Never, ever, ever stay on a Zoom where that'll probably never happen again, where a candidate has the television on or the radio on or super distracting background noise, if it's something that they can control. It's okay to value and respect your time. It's okay to say, you know what, I actually don't feel like this is going to be a good fit. So I appreciate your time, but I don't have any more time to spend here today. It is okay to say that. It is okay to end an interview, to cut an interview short, because your time is valuable. And you know what? So is that candidate's time. So by engaging them for an hour, that's taken up their time too, which is a waste, knowing that they're not going to move forward. And you can also fall back on your recruiter. If you're just not comfortable being that direct with a candidate, you can say, I apologize. I appreciate you showing up for our meeting today, but something has come up and I do have to go. I will have the recruiter follow back up with you. And you can leave that up to us. Let us help you. Lean on us. Let us help you with the unpleasant work sometimes. But your time is valuable, and it is okay to cut an interview that is not going well or going to go well. It's okay to cut that short. So that's an example of a really great quality, really treating others the way that he would like to be treated, being kind, not wanting to hurt somebody's feelings. But where is that quality holding him back? And how many other hours have been wasted due to that good quality there? So keep the star quality, but just be aware of how and when it might sometimes hold you back. And by being aware, then you can make simple or subtle shifts that can help you to make impactful change moving forward. So example number 2 from another hiring manager, and this hiring manager, so awesome. Every candidate I have ever sent to him over the years, even if they don't necessarily want that job, they tell me they want to work with him. They wish that they wanted the job. because he's just that great of an individual. So one thing that I noticed, one of his really great qualities is that he's open-minded. It's okay as a hiring manager to want exactly what you want, to know exactly what you want, and he does, but he's also open-minded, understanding that, what, sometimes we're going to check some of the boxes and not all. And he really trusts me. We have a great working relationship. So if I put somebody in front of him, he trusts me that I'm doing it for a reason, and he's likely going to talk to them. So this star quality of being open-minded, I have noticed, or I think might sometimes hold him back, in that he can be a little bit too lenient in overlooking what I consider are red flags showing up throughout the interview process. Even if it's my candidate, I want a winning hire. I want the hiring manager a winning hire is a lasting hire. It is ideal talent that's going to be with the company for the long term, and that it's a good fit on both sides. I really care about the candidate too, and I work with them throughout the process, and I want them to make, the right move. And there's a reason that there's a process. So if signs are showing up of potential concern on the front end of the interview process, I'm going to say you can almost guarantee that those flags are going to manifest later as challenges once that candidate comes on board, if they do win the job. And I also like to say that interviewing is like dating. So it's a process that builds. The more you get to know the opportunity and the candidate and the manager, then your investment builds. But also, sometimes you start off really liking somebody, and they seem all really great and like a great fit for you. And then once you decide you're in, I like them, I'm in, we're doing this, then the flags start flying, and you're like, oh no. It's so much harder to get out of something once you're in it, because then it's painful. Well, it's no different in the hiring process. When you make a hire that doesn't end up being the right hire, and they leave within a year or in a year's time, that is a lot of time and money and energy invested, not just from the hiring manager, but whoever else, other leaders, other individual contributors from your team, HR, multiple people have a hand in investing in this candidate. And then also, not to mention the customers involved in the territory, the region, just a lot of unnecessary time wasted, money wasted, challenges are going to arise, on the back end if you have a bad hire. So back to the overlooking the red flags. This manager will notice the red flags, but be open-minded with them and be lenient. Whereas my suggestion would be to heed the red flags. It doesn't have to be a no, especially if you really like this candidate. They've got a lot of really strong qualities, but maybe add another interview step to the process that addresses that specific issue, that specific flag. And you can see if it really truly is a flag. So be open-minded, keep that star quality, but what can you shift to by becoming aware of how that quality can sometimes hold you back? What actions can you take? What subtle shifts can you make in your hiring process or other areas of your life that can help you eliminate those unnecessary frustrations, the pain that's caused when we don't reach our desired outcome? So in the hiring process, if you're coming up with those red flags, rather than kind of overlooking them and giving the candidate too much of the benefit of the doubt because you're open-minded and you like and believe in that candidate, address the flag and still be open-minded, but see if you and the candidate can overcome it and it can still end up being a good fit. And if not, while it may be disappointing, much less of a disappointment to learn that on the front end rather than on the back end. Okay, so that's enough picking on others. To help lock in the lessons, I'll quickly share just a couple of personal examples for myself on how some of my really great qualities can sometimes hold me back. And just by becoming aware of these tendencies, it's been a game changer for me. I'm much happier, and I have a lot less unnecessary frustrations. I'm using that word a lot, but I think that frustration, those two words, unnecessary and frustrations, because a lot of our challenges and problems don't have to happen when we build some more awareness around our habits, our tendencies, then we can start to change them. And then we avoid frustrations and challenges, and life gets better, and we can achieve success with greater ease. It's all about improvement. So one of my great qualities, I'm not very modest. A friend of mine was teasing me yesterday about how not modest I am, but celebrate your good qualities, but also be aware of how sometimes they can hold you back. So for me, I believe in people. I mean, what a great quality. That is a big driver that drives me to do what I do: write books, do motivational videos, coach. I believe that people can overcome their challenges, they can be better, do better, they can achieve their goals. And while that's a great quality, where can this quality hold me back? I'll tell you exactly where. When you believe in somebody so much that they can change, that they can maybe treat you better if they're not. When we're not feeling good on the inside, we don't show up for others very well. And so it's very important to choose our company and be selective, because if we're surrounding ourselves with people who aren't treating us well, the person who's not treating us well becomes ourself, because that's a choice. So for many, many years, not anymore, for many, many years, I really stuck in there with the wrong people, because I believed that they could change, and encouraged and tried to help. But you can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. And when somebody's not doing the work to work on themselves, they're not feeling good. And as a result, they won't be able to treat you well. So that was a very painful lesson that I learned. So great quality, I believe in people. I believe that they can achieve whatever they set their mind to, because I do that for myself. So I know it's possible. And I believe that they can overcome their deeper challenges, because I've done that for myself. So I know it's possible. But you can't help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. And if they're in a bad state because they're not feeling good, they won't treat you well. They won't be able to. And I also know that from my past personal experience too, because when I was in a state years and years ago, before I really dove into the self-development, working on myself, trying to better myself for that very reason, that I wanted to treat those around me better, I used to not treat people that great. And it was nothing to do with them. It was to do with me. So anyhow, in recognizing that that tendency can hold me back, that giving chances, giving too many chances, giving too much, trying to, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. That slows me down. And then it's going to take my energy away and my focus away from what is meaningful to me. So that is how finding the good in your bad can help you in life, and in eliminating those unnecessary frustrations and inefficiencies in your hiring process, and even in making the right hire. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you found that helpful. And as always, I'd love to hear your feedback if you have any questions. And had a comment here. Where did it go? Okay, we're not going to mention that one there. Oh my. But I love to hear most comments and feedback and thoughts. And please feel free to reach out if you have a hiring challenge or past challenge that you want to talk through. I'd love to hear your feedback. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next week.